sharing the love, and nothing says you're loved more than a home-cooked meal, and that's the recipe behind Lasagna Love.
Do you want to put the sauce on, baby?
Yes. It's lasagna making time, and Angela Rosenblatt and her adorable 5-year-old helper, daughter Stella, are whipping up a big batch for strangers in need.
I think it's a very different message that we send when we put our heart, we put our soul, we put our time into providing a home-cooked meal from somebody.
Angela is part of Lasagna Love, founded by Rhiannon Men, who first posted her idea on social media in May. Angela was one of the first 10 to answer the call to spread love through cooking.
It inspires a little bit of hope. It confers that hope, giving it forward, that somebody cared enough about you.
Angela makes about 20 of these a week in her Del Cerro kitchen, which means she has given more than 500 so far. Is your lasagna recipe something super secret or something in the family?
Growing up in a restaurant industry, you cook with what you got. It's always made with love. It's always made with some really great ingredients, but it's what I can get so that I can feed as many people as I can.
Volunteers drop the meals off at people's doors for pandemic safety, and recipients often make it clear how thankful they are. That includes essential worker Abigail Eastman.
We are very grateful for you guys in this time of pandemic. You guys are making a difference, one lasagna at a time.
Sometimes there is no feedback. Angela says she understands why.
It's embarrassing to a lot of people that this is the first time that they have never been able to maybe provide for their family. And you can't be doing this for thank you.
And certainly for Angela and the now 3,000 plus volunteers in 47 states feeding their communities, the true motivation is feeding the soul.
And I hope that that's kind of a lesson that I'm able to show to my daughter, that even though we're having a hard time, we can continue to move through it, and we can continue to kind of show grace.
See how pretty the leaf is?
Rows and rows of crops to harvest, irrigation lines, cabbage the size of your head. Not exactly what you'd expect to see just a few miles south of downtown Phoenix.
Look at there. See?
It's also not the place you'd imagine finding a former top-level executive. But for Diana Gregory, there's no place she'd rather be.
Coming out to the farm is very relaxing for me. This is really a labor of love. I wish I had more time.
It's easy to get distracted by the bounties of broccoli and the supersized cabbage and the collard greens that are overflowing, but make no mistake about it. There is a dream that is growing from this soil, and it's one that Diana has cultivated for most of her life.
I was 8 years old, and one of my neighbors, Miss Fanny, had just returned from the grocery store, and she's struggling trying to carry her bags, and all the children are outside playing. No one flinched to help her. At that time, I realized as a little girl how seniors were treated, sometimes neglected, sometimes overlooked, and I made a vow at 8 years old that when I grew up, I wanted to do something on a big scale to really help seniors. And then that's the cabbage.
And that's exactly what Diana is doing with Gregory's Fresh Market, a nonprofit initiative that brings healthy fruits and vegetables to Valley seniors at no cost to them. In Phoenix, there's more of a need than you may realize. More than 40% of residents live in food deserts, according to the city, where things like quality, healthy produce may be in short supply. Diana is trying to change that.
It's like a gift. It's a gift of nutrition.
You like some fruits and vegetables? Okay.
And this gift isn't just for seniors.
Nice start for a good morning.
Gregory's Fresh Market also serves Valley veterans like Kenny Kessel. After his appointment at the Phoenix VA, he was one of more than 200 veterans who walked away with his own bag of fresh off the farm produce.
I'm on a budget, I'm on disability, and every dollar counts.
For volunteers like Ricky and Ruben, it's more than just a way to give back. As veterans themselves, it's about sacrifice, fulfilling their sense of duty, and honoring the brave men and women who served just like them.
Vets put in so much, and they've given so much, so it's nice to be able to give back to them.
It feels amazing, especially being with those guys, in and out of the battlefield and coming back home to serve some healthy fruits and vegetables, especially during the time of a pandemic.
And because of the pandemic, Gregory's Fresh Market has had to pivot, becoming a delivery service. We followed the volunteers to one of their drop-offs at the Tanner Terrace Apartments in Glendale. And that's where we met Martha Anderson, who told us the bags she gets from Gregory's Fresh Market are her lifeline.
It means the difference between a meal and starving.
Martha also has diabetes. That means she's constantly monitoring her blood sugar and needs to have a steady supply of food in her apartment. She tells us that's a lot harder than it used to be.
Well, this is my means of transportation, so I can't jump in my car anymore and run to Walmart.
These free fruits and veggies from Gregory's Fresh Market may not solve all of Martha's problems, but inside each bag, she sees more than just produce. She also finds hope.
People wouldn't realize how important that bag of vegetables and fruit is, but it's a blessing and it's a meal. And that means a lot.
For Diana, it is a full circle moment that takes her back to the time when she was a little girl.
It makes me feel like we're making a difference. And it is just so heartwarming to be able to give back on such a big scale.
And to think it all started with a handful of seeds, the unrelenting drive to serve, and a dream she refused to let go of until she could see it blossom into what it is today.
We have so many more positive stories that are good for your heart and warm your soul.
This has been a good way to both give to people that are need the help.
It's good to know.